Good day YouTube, Kaitsu here, and today I'm finally back again for a new video regarding the new Pocket Rank season is finally going to start again today. So we are back. I apologize for the lack of Pocket content in the past few days, past few weeks, but today we're going to be back. We're going to be playing more Pocket. We're going to be streaming. We're going to also try and upload more Pocket content as much as possible. But for now, let's get back on track with what are the best decks, best rank decks you should be using with the opening of Pocket Rank that's going to happen in just a few hours as soon as this video gets up. And with how the meta has developed so far, I think we do have already a pretty much good idea as to what are the best decks that we can play in the rank ladder right now, especially referencing a lot of the stats of the meta environment of the meta decks right now from tournament data. I think the list that I have compiled today are pretty much what we're going to be seeing for the most part in the rank ladder. But without further ado, let's get started. This deck in front of us right now, I think this is one of the actually quote and unquote new decks that has risen in popularity this season. Although it's kind of funny because it's literally just a different font of the Blaziken Greninja deck that was popular last season, but this time around people are playing it with Sceptile. Funnily enough, I do not understand why it did not get popular last season, even though it was kind of obvious that Blaziken and Sceptile kind of works the same way-ish, right? But only this season that this archetype actually got more popular and got more usage, and it has proven to actually be good and somewhat on par as to the Blaziken Greninja version of this archetype. But what this deck is good at is it's pretty obvious. Sceptile is really broken with the poison and all that, and then accompanied it with the threat of Greninja, and you're pretty much one-tapping most of the things in the meta game right now. And if not, you also have Pheromosa to apply more pressure. Pheromosa is very, very oppressive, especially if you start in the active spot. And then Furfrou as well. This new Furfrou is actually very cheese because if you ever hit 2 heads on a 60 HP basic, you're just so ahead of the game. So it makes sense why people play it. And for the other tech cards, this deck is actually playing Small Balloon, which is actually really good because one of the problems of this deck is it's prone to Sabrina once you attack with Sceptile, and you kind of lose some tempo with it. So with having Small Balloon, you can kind of solve that problem. Some players actually still play X-Speed because, for example, you cannot use Small Balloon on Greninja or something like that. So it's definitely interchangeable as to what you want to play in that spot. And for the supporter tech cards and other tech cards, it's pretty much the same. Again, it's pretty much the same template. Or rather, it's actually the same template as Blaziken Greninja. So there's no questions that this deck is also playing Hiking Trail, 2 Copycat, Cyrus, and Juliana. So yeah, definitely I vouch for this deck and definitely expect to see this deck a lot in rank. And speaking of, we don't really have to talk about this deck much that more. Obviously, since Sceptile Greninja is good, definitely Blaziken Greninja is also going to be good. You just have to choose what kind of archetype you want to play. The thing with this, Hitmore is also oppressive in the bench, 30. Sometimes you can deal swing with 50 for Greninja Hitmore. It's kind of actually really strong, especially there are instances where it can really pressure the board. And also you can never go wrong with Cast Form. Cast Form is very strong, especially if you ever start with it along with Hiking Trail, then you add a lot more pressure on the board to your opponent. And for the tech cards, it's the usual 1 Flame Patch, and again the usual supporters, 2 Copycat, Cyrus, and Juliana. Again, I don't really know what's better between the two. I'd say play it for yourself, test the waters, and see for yourself what kind of deck play style you prefer more. All I can say is that both of these are going to be good. Both of these are decks you're going to be seeing a lot in rank, so definitely keep them in mind. And next, I think this is still the undisputed best deck of the format right now. It's none other than Miraidon. And I think definitely the strongest. There's 3 versions of Miraidon that exist, right? There's the one with 2 Zoroark, the one you're seeing on the screen right now, the one with 2 Oricorio, and then the one with split Oricorio and then 1 Zoroark, right? But I think the strongest version is always going to be this Zoroark version. The only difference you can make on the list right now that's on the screen is definitely opting for 2 baby Magnezones. 2 baby Magnezones make sense. It's really strong. Some people play it, some top rankers play it. Definitely remove Sabrina for a second Magnezone if ever, because that's the card that people cut for. Personally, I like Sabrina, and so I'm keeping Sabrina on my list if I ever were to play this deck, and definitely this is the version I'm going to be playing. I don't really like Oricorio, even though Oricorio has its merits, but I think Zoroark is just the better go-to no matter what. Or rather, it's the better go-to in the long run, especially if you're going to be playing a lot of games with a single deck, right? And speaking of the Zoroark Oricorio split, I don't think you even want to play that. I'm not going to lie, because it kind of defeats the purpose of playing Zoroark. You want to start Zoroark, and if you're only playing one Zoroark, and your chances of starting Zoroark are way lower if you're playing a split of Zoroark and Oricorio. But yeah, again, definitely Miraidon is going to be still one of the top decks of this meta game, so definitely expect to see it, or definitely play it yourself as well, and be better at piloting this deck, because this deck is definitely what do you call this? This deck definitely has a bit of skill ceiling into it, so you do have to be cautious of playing it if ever you're not super familiar with playing this deck. And next, it's also one of the stronger, still one of the stronger decks of the season. It is none other than Mega Lucario, and the one with Hitmonlee and Zygarde is still very strong. Mega Lucario is very strong. It's a solid attacker with 2 energy, wherein it your ceiling increases once you hit 3, and along with other damage boost supporters like Arena of Antiquity and then Corina. So Lucario is just very strong like that. Also add the pressure of Hitmonlee and Zygarde, and a lot of times Lucario just sweeps the floor as soon as it's ready to hit the active spot, right? And for the tech cards, I think actually the X-Speed Lucky Ice Pop Rocky Helmet here are a bit of flex. People are playing a lot of different tech cards in their version. Some people play Baby Lucario, some people play Poncho, some people play 2 X-Speed, some people play 2 Rocky Helmet, some people even get greedy and play 2 Ice Pops. I think those are the versions you can see. Some people also play the 30 damage Furfrou, or even the 60 damage, and people probably going to change into that if they ever play Furfrou again in this deck list. But pretty much these are the other flex cards that you can play in this deck, so definitely keep that in mind. And again, Lucario is just very strong. You definitely want to keep an eye out for this deck and the ladder if you ever face it, or if you ever want to consider using it. It's definitely a straightforward deck, so you can never go wrong with it as long as you're not breaking really hard, which is, by the way, my experience with this deck, so I don't really like playing this deck. But trust me, it's a very strong deck, and it's definitely a deck you should consider for your grind this season. And of course, we can never go wrong with with our favorite Suicune Baxcalibur. Funnily enough, it's still very strong, still very dominant, even with Miraidon getting popular. I thought Suicune Baxcalibur was going to wiggle out of the meta last season because Miraidon is just really strong, but the reality is not. Suicune is perfectly fine. Suicune Baxcalibur is perfectly fine. It's still as strong as ever. It's still that consistent deck that once you get your pieces, you will win a lot. And this is pretty much just the staple deck list. I don't think you can ever really go wrong with this kind of template. I think the flex card really is Field Blower, and then the second Copycat. I think that's what people are messing with right now. I've been seeing some people play Mars, some people play Cyrus, some people play Plains, and etc. Right? People are changing some tech cards on their Suicune Baxcalibur list to catch their opponent off guard. But other than that, this 20 deck list is the list that you should base your Suicune EX Baxcalibur on if you ever want to play this deck, right? And next, this is my favorite deck as someone who finished top 100 last season. This was the deck that I mainly use, and also this was also the one of the first deck I tested again this season. I included Mega Sableye this time in this list instead of the second Bombardier. And I think this is actually the deck I'm going to go in with on rank later. I think I'll definitely play more Zoroark this season and then chill grind with this deck. And the thing with Zoroark is just very, very strong, very, very consistent, very, very what do you call this? It's just very consistent, very aggro, very, very strong, and can catch your opponents off guard if ever you just sometimes you will just roll the board if you have a great start. And the thing with this deck is it's very, very consistent actually. Like you ever rarely break with this deck, and if you ever break with Zoroark deck, it's like it's whatever, GG, go next, right? But for the tech cards I'm using this season, I actually cut one Rocky Helmet on my list, and then playing Balloon. I think Balloon is actually really goated on Zoroark. Upon testing, I really like Balloon, so I think I'll keep it on my deck list. And also I think I also don't want to remove Mars. Mars is really, really good in this deck. I've played with Mars a lot on this deck last season, and it really helped the deck to what they call this, to slow down the late game and find my winning conditions, and then just overall have that extra control that Mars provides, right? And I think this deck is a lot more stronger now. I think if you want to watch I have a dedicated video on this list actually, which is the previous upload before this one. So if you ever want to watch more in-depth discussion on why I think Mega Sableye actually fits this deck, definitely go there if you're interested in that. But aside from that, I think Zoroark is actually still really good, so definitely keep an eye on this deck. I don't think you will see this exact version. I think you'll actually see different versions of Zoroark. There are a lot of versions of Zoroark actually. There are people that play Roaring Moon and etc. Some people don't even play Sableye on this deck, so just keep that in mind if you're ever on the ladder and face Zoroark, right? But also you might want to use this for yourself. I think I would say it's a bit straightforward of a deck, so definitely keep that in mind if you want to consider giving this deck a try on your rank ladder grinds, right? And lastly, our favorite deck, a deck that still exists. Like, what is it, the 5th season that this deck is meta, or 4th season? I don't even know. I hate this deck, but this deck is still going to be one of the best decks, unfortunately, because Dena refuses to do anything about this sleep archetype. That it's just ridiculously stupid, I would say. But it is what it is. It is here, so we just have to accept it. And as competitive players, we cannot ignore the fact that this deck is really good. If you want to play it, go ahead. If not, I respect you, but definitely keep an eye out for this deck. You will definitely get tilted by this deck a lot this season, so just keep in mind, I would say this is the 20 card list. Personally, if I were to play this deck, right, I would change one card on the list. I would include Balloon instead of 2x speed, but I think 2x speed is still fine. It's whatever. I just think small Balloon actually fits this deck, is my opinion. So definitely, if you want to play this deck, I will side eye you a bit. If not, I respect you, but again, just keep in mind, this is still one of the best decks in rank, unfortunately. So yeah, but anyway, enough yapping for me for now. I hope finally we will be able to play the game again. I hope we have a great season ahead of us. And if you've been missing the K2 Pocket streams, definitely we will be back. We will be playing a lot more Pocket again. I'm sorry for the lack of Pocket streams over the past 2 weeks. The game is just not playable outside of rank for me right now, unfortunately, but I still do love playing this game. So we will be back with rank, and we will be streaming more, and I hope to see you guys in there. Thank you for watching for now, and I will see you again on the next video. Thank you so much, and bye bye.